This is Modern Photo Solutions, helping you find modern solutions for life's photographic journey. Taking you from photo overwhelm to photo fabulous in just a few taps. Your story matters. It's time to start telling it. Hey everyone, welcome to Modern Photo Solutions. I'm Steph Clay, and I am so happy to be here with you today. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for spending some of your time with me. I hope that you are enjoying your summer. It is June 28th as I'm recording today, and we have quite a bit of Google Photos news this week to go over. I was going to record the Chatbooks episode today, and then when I went to do it, I realized I didn't order my chatbook. I have ordered a couple from them in the past, but I wanted to try the new 8x8 size with a hardcover so that I could let you know what I thought. So I've ordered that. And while we're waiting for that to come, I will go over some of the big Google news and Amazon Photos news and other things, iOS as well, that's going on or has been going on this past week. I am also working on getting my quote recording studio set up, which is basically just a spot in our office where I'm going to be able to work and do recording, but there's no door on it. And so the kids are upstairs. They've been notified that I'm recording, and hopefully they'll cooperate and be quiet. But I have some more things that I need to do in here so that the sound quality will be as good as I want it to be. My audio hasn't been as good on my Mac as I've wanted it to be ever since I started recording. And so I'm working on shifting gear and equipment a little bit and moving away from my Mac for recording. I'm not moving to a PC. However, I will be using different iDevices for recording the podcast. And I'm enjoying it. I got myself last week a new iPad Pro, and I love it. I have to tell you, I love it. So I have it sitting here with my Trello boards in place with all of the things that I want to talk about. And as I'm done talking about them, I can move them over to the done board. And then I can move through the workflow of getting this podcast edited and up. I am loving Trello, and I'm hearing from the people that signed up for the memory management course that they are all loving it too. And they're using it in every aspect of their life, not just managing their memories. So that's pretty exciting. And that course will be back up again soon. Well, not soon, soon-ish, in the fall sometime. Possibly when I open the Heart of Photo Fabulous registration again. I've got to kind of rethink things and figure out how I want to do things so that it's easier for me and smoother. It was a lot of manual work this last time because of the bonuses and stuff, so I need to figure some things out. And the way the classes are designed, they are designed to start with Google Photos and then move into the Heart of Photo Fabulous. And then the App Smashers course, of course, can be done pretty much anytime. And then the memory management class, I really think that you need to have the Heart of Photo Fabulous as a foundation first. I think that it can be confusing without that. So I've got to figure out what I'm going to do. But I want to bundle it together. I don't know. Anyway, there's lots to consider, a lot for me to decide by the fall when that registration opens again. Speaking of fall, we are getting geared up for iOS 11 to be released. And all Apple is saying right now is that it's coming in the fall. The public beta is available now. They do their betas in steps. And so developers are the ones that get it first. And I used to always get the new iOS with the developers because I do have access and the ability to be able to do that. However, a lot of my apps don't always work well with it because they aren't released yet. They aren't updated yet. That's why the developers have the beta version of the iOS, is so that they can update their apps and test them with that iOS. And so I just decided that I was going to just wait until it's available. And then even when it's released publicly, I usually wait a few days for the same reason, because the apps that I love most, sometimes I've had them stop working. And especially in the line of work that I'm in, I need to be able to have my apps that I use a lot and that I answer questions on functional. And so I will probably be waiting a few days once that public iOS the full alpha has been released. I'll probably even wait a few days. But there's lots of really exciting new features, and I'm gathering information so that I can be prepared once it's released, because it sounds like it's going to be a big change. So I will be ready to point out features and new things and also answer questions. They have also been doing a big cleaning of the App Store, which I think is great. They are working on getting rid of all of the apps that won't work with iOS 11 anymore or no longer work with any of the current iOS that are in the store or that are on devices. They're getting rid of the apps that don't work with the iOS that are on the devices. And so you might have been getting some, when you go in to use apps, you might get a notification from the App Store saying that this app might stop working once you update iOS because of lack of updates from the developer. And then they even, I think, encourage you to contact the developer and let them know. I'm one of those developers that has apps in the App Store, and I've received notifications from Apple letting me know that I need to update my apps or they will be removed. And so sadly, they're going to be removed from the App Store, and that will be the end of an era for me. I believe I have 4 different apps. I think a couple of them have actually been removed already, and the other 2 will, if they haven't been removed, they will be removed shortly. And I'm not even sure how well they work on the current iOS 10. Because I had to stop development on them. It's really expensive to develop apps, and I just wasn't in a position once I sold my other business to have the income to keep on developing. And so that will be the end of an era for me, at least for a while. I always have lots of really great ideas, I think, for apps. And so I do hope to be able to have apps in the App Store someday. I am keeping my developer license up to date and doing everything that I need to do on Apple's side so that I am still considered a developer. And someday I hope to be able to add that back onto my resume as having current apps in the App Store. But for now, we'll say a sad farewell to all of those apps, or an okay farewell, because I don't feel sad about it. I felt sad when I had to stop developing them, for sure. That was a hard choice and a hard thing to do, but I've moved on now and I'm happy where I am. But it's just the end of an era, closing a book, closing a chapter, and there we have it. So my suggestion is, if you do get notifications pop up saying that this app will stop working, you don't really need to contact the developer. I am fairly confident that they're completely aware that that is the situation. Apple's done a really good job of letting all of us know through emails and other contacts that we would be losing that. So it's all good. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about changes to Amazon Photo. I've had some questions about this, and I actually posted on the Modern Photo Solutions Facebook page. If you want to go check that out, it's facebook.com/Modern Photo Solutions, and you do not need to have a Facebook account in order to see that. But there is a link there so that you can read all of the information about how the changes with Amazon Drive, which is mostly where the changes are, is Amazon Drive, not Amazon Prime Photos. They're 2 different things, but there's a link there for how everything could affect you. So you can read through that and figure out how the changes might be affecting you and what you need to know. But basically, they are changing the Drive portion. And so if you upload photos to Drive, my understanding is that that is where the problem is and where the changes are, not on the Amazon Prime Photo part. And I do have Prime Photos, and I have the free version, that you get with your Prime subscription. I'm not paying for anything additional beyond that. And they're still updating, they're still uploading for me. And so that's a good thing. They've always had video limitations. Some people are saying, well, no, my videos, for the free version, they've always had video limitations. That's not a new thing. But yeah, be sure to go check out that link on the Modern Photo Solutions Facebook page. And speaking of Facebook, I'm excited because I've been doing a much better job posting on Facebook, and I'm posting different information there. I am posting some of the things that I post on Instagram too, but to me, Instagram and Facebook are two very different platforms, and they're for sharing different kinds of information. And Instagram is more for talking about what I'm personally doing, and Facebook is more for sharing information and links and not just stuff about myself and my own business. And so that's how I'm using the Facebook page. Is I am posting lots of articles, like I said, the Amazon article, and a few other cool things. I try to post at least one interesting article that's related to this, what we're doing here, documenting our stories and photos on our phones and all of that kind of stuff every day. So you'll want to make sure that you're following us over there if you haven't been, and even turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, any of that good information. Okay, Google Photos, they added, I have seen reports that some users are getting the sharing tab, or it's a sharing tab. It doesn't look like a sharing icon though, and that's why, because I was picturing the icon in my mind, and I knew they were calling it sharing. So the icon is the silhouette of two people, but it's called the sharing tab. And there's an article that I'll post in the show notes on 9to5 Google, and they actually have screenshots. They're the only site that I've seen with screenshots of how it's actually going to look. The word on the street or on the interweb is that the sharing tab is rolling out to people. I went to check the App Store, Android and iOS, to see if there was an update available. And yeah, there was an update available, and it updated on the 22nd of June, which is almost a week ago from today. So then I'm thinking, okay, mine didn't update because I don't have that tab right there. I don't have that feature. So I deleted the app, and then I reinstalled it again, and it's still not there. But this is what the description says in the App Store. It says, sharing photos with friends just got easier. Check the new sharing tab for smart personalized suggestions that help you quickly share the right photos with the right people. Shared libraries grant a trusted person, whether it's a spouse, a friend, or a family member, access to some or all of your photos. No more asking each other for photos. Set up rules to only share photos of specific people or time ranges. That's the app update description in the iOS App Store on June 22nd. Did not have that tab. Still do not have that tab after deleting the app and reinstalling it. So I believe how this is working out is the same way that it does with a lot of apps, especially probably a lot of us can relate to Instagram. Not only does the app need to be updated, but then they roll those features out to users. Sometimes it's based on how many followers you have. Sometimes it's based on how long you've been an Instagram user. I don't know what Google's rules are. I would guess that maybe they're rolling it out to their longtime users first in case there's glitches. They're figuring that their longtime users are going to be less upset maybe than the ones that are newer. So they're rolling it out, and that's what we know, is that they're rolling it out. Like I said, I'll link to this article so that you can see what it will look like and know what to expect. It's pretty cool. It's just that tab is right down there in the very bottom by the assistant photos and albums that we have right across the bottom. And now there will be that sharing icon tab right there, but it's not the traditional sharing icon. And it has suggestions of photos up at the top and suggestions of who to share them with. And then you can add more people to that, review the photos, or skip them. And then you can set up rules like it said. And I'm really excited about those rules. I can't wait to check those out and be able to set up some rules for my kids to automatically have all of their photos that are in my Google Photos of them. They will love it. And it will save me from having to go through and continually adding stuff and doing it for them. So like I said, this 9 to 5 Google article has not only screenshots, but it has like some videos and GIFs and things that show the different steps and what it looks like on the device, which is pretty cool. I also did the same thing, by the way, on my Android device, and I don't have it there either. So I think that it's going to be first, you have to update the app before you'll get it. And then second, it's going to be account based on your login credentials, your email address. That's how they identify you. However they identify us. I'm assuming it's by our email address, but maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Another announcement that Google had this past week was Google Upload and Sync. I'm really excited about this. And I did post about this on the Facebook page as well, on the Modern Photo Solutions Facebook page. This is going to be similar to the desktop uploader for Google Photos. You don't have to have Google Drive installed anymore to upload and back up all of your documents and everything that's on your computer, which is great for people like me that have more stuff in the cloud than I have room on my computer. I don't want everything completely, totally mirrored. I would love to be able to have one more complete cloud backup solution for my Mac. So this is going to be it for me because I'll be able to just select what I want and have everything backed up. And because I know how the Google Photos desktop uploader works, and I know that I have Dropbox installed on my Mac, and so I can access Dropbox-like files and folders on my Mac, and the desktop uploader can read those and see those and pull photos out of them. Because of that, I will be able to just access all of my folders that are Dropbox and have them automatically uploaded into Google Drive as well. And I'm really excited about that, to have that additional backup and security. I don't save hardly anything directly to my hard drive on my MacBook just because hard drives die, and I've had it happen way too many times, and I've lost too many things. Thankfully, not any photos because I was pretty diligent. I did lose a few, I think. I'm still digging, trying to find a few months worth of photos, but I was very diligent about making sure that I had 3 external hard drives all the time with all of my photos on. It got to be too much to try and make sure that all of my digital scrapbooking supplies and everything else was backed up in 3 different places because it was literally terabytes of information. I think I had a terabyte of, I had a whole terabyte of digital scrapbooking supplies, and I did lose them, which is sad, but life goes on. It's not the end of the world. It's not my photos. Thank heavens it wasn't my photos. So I just don't trust hard drives at all anymore. I've talked about it a lot. I'm sure people are tired of it. I know that there are people that have great experiences with it. I'm not consistent enough to be able to trust myself or the hard drives. The hard drives fail. They will fail. Your hard drive will fail. So you absolutely have to make sure that your photos are in more than one place and not just on one hard drive, and make sure that that's all the time. If one fails, immediately get them backed up to another place. Off my soapbox now. Thank you for listening again to me preach about why we need to back up our photos. But you know what? The people that have lost photos are shaking their head and going, yeah, me too. I know. I get it. I hear you. Yeah, you can never have too many backups. There's no such thing as excessive backing up. I've seen that. People say, I think I might be excessive. No, not a thing. It's just not real. Google Photos was added to IFTTT as an option. This is really exciting. Google Photos is allowing more and more people to access their API. And maybe they've been allowing it all the time, but companies are just starting to access it and implement it. I'm not sure, but Google Photos was added to IFTTT. What is IFTTT? It's also known as If This Then That. And I think they've just actually changed the company name to If. It probably will always and forever be IFTTT to me. So what does it do? You can go into IFTTT and set up a free account, and then you can integrate your email or Facebook or different things that you want to set up automation rules for. These are called applets in this program. I'm going to really try hard to go the new route because I don't want to confuse new people that are just starting out with it. So they're called applets, and those little scripts that you can write, and their interface is really user-friendly. It's very easy to just get in there, log in, and tell them what you want to do, and tell them that you want to set up an automation with email, pick that channel. You have to, allow it and enter in your passcodes and all of that stuff. I set up one this morning to test it out. I had read on the Day One blog that you could set up texting to Day One. When I read that, I didn't realize that they were using IFTTT. And I did mention that on our last show that it was something that you could do. You do have to use if you want to be able to do that. And so I did set up a recipe really quick. I already had my texting SMS is what that's called. So if you go in there and want to set this up, you need to search on SMS. You allow it, and then it sends you a text message, a test text message, and I think you have to verify it. And then you have the phone number. So then you can set up a recipe that when you text the if phone number that you were given, that it will automatically create a journal entry in Day One. I set this up, I ran it, I tested it. It worked once for me. I'm waiting to see if the other 2 tests that I ran worked or not. My little note about if is that I have noticed the more complex the rules get, they're kind of iffy, pun intended, on whether or not they're going to work. Sometimes they work great, and then other times they just don't. And I've had some that have worked for weeks, and then they just don't anymore. So that is my honest opinion on that service. The Google Photos channels, they have a lot of different channels that you can use and that will work with IFTTT. I don't really see this. Someone asked, how do you see this on the Facebook page? They asked, how do you see this working for you? I don't, honestly. If I were a big poster on Facebook and I shared a lot of family photos and memories on Facebook or Instagram or some of those other places, I might set that up so that it would download all of the photos automatically to Google Photos in an album. I think some of the integrations that they have right now through If will be taken care of with the new rollout that they're in the process of right now with the shared albums and the automatically and the smart sharing, all of that stuff that they're rolling out. That is what I probably would have used If for, but I don't see that much of a need for it right now. But there are some people that might, and so that's why I share it, because it's something that might help other people with their memory management. One last thing that I did want to share with you is a site called 50 by 52, and it's the number 50 by BY and then the number 52. And this is a family that are on a journey of a lifetime. They decided to sell everything they have, and they moved into an RV. And they are traveling the United States of America to find out what makes the United States so great. If you go to that website, you can scroll down to the bottom and go to their Instagram. They are documenting this by creating a YouTube TV show. Dad used to be a cameraman, I believe, and maybe more, producer, more. I'm afraid I'm going to get this wrong. For one of my favorite shows called Story Trek. And that is a show that can be found on BYU TV. And Story Trek, I talked about this on the Digi Show, for those of you that are longtime listeners of mine, several years ago, actually, when it very first came out. And that is where they just randomly pick places to go. They throw a dart at a map or whatever and knock on people's door until they get someone willing to talk to them and tell them their story. Because everybody has a story, right? And every story matters, and every story can make a difference. And so they just listen and hear people's stories. And I've loved watching that show and the way that just seeing people be willing to share their experiences and their hard stuff, and how relatable people suddenly become, and how quick we are to judge people by what they look like and assume that either they've had hard things or haven't had hard things, and maybe even what kinds of hard things they've had based on how they look. So this family is going around the country, like I said, going through the 50 states, and they are on a journey to find out what makes them so great. But the kids will be spending time with kids their own age in different states and seeing how they live their life and how different it is from how they've been living their life and what they've been doing. And so it's really great. There's only a couple episodes out so far, and then they have their online journal on their website. But I'm excited for them to get more things out there. I talked to them about coming on the show, and they were going to come on the show before they headed out, but they had a lot to get done before they got on the road, which is completely understandable. But I'm hopeful that we can get them on the show soon to talk to us about it. I'm excited to hear how they're learning and growing, and I can't wait to see more, like I said, more videos on their YouTube channel. So check that out, 50 by 52. My kids have enjoyed watching the videos that are up already as well. Okay, that is it for today's show. Hopefully you have not been able to hear my kids upstairs playing. We are headed out to go get a few more things at IKEA for my office and for some other organizing projects we have going on around here in Arizona. This is the time of year when we do our inside projects. I'm learning that. And because it's so hot, we can't be outside. So we're trying to get lots of indoor projects done, because I've been doing it a little bit backwards, and I've been doing lots of indoor projects during the beautiful weather in the fall and spring. And I don't want to do that anymore. I want to get my projects done in the summer when it's hot. So that's what I'm working on. I hope that you're enjoying your summer and making memories and capturing them and getting them documented. That's what's important. It's my passion to help you make sure that your memories are captured, your stories are getting told, and that your photos are safe, and that you can be confident in making decisions about where your photos are stored and knowing that they're taken care of. If you know someone that has been suffering from photo overwhelm or wonders where the cloud is and what it is and all of those good things, please send them to modernphotosolutions.com/free, where they can take the free Google Photos class. And if you haven't taken it yet, jump in there. It's free. It only takes 30 minutes, and you don't even have to do those 30 minutes consecutively. The lessons are designed to be short so that you can do them in 2 to 3 minute segments of time whenever you have it. And by the time you're done with that 30 minutes, you will be confident in knowing where your photos are stored and knowing if you can safely delete them or not. And if you still have questions, because I know we get nervous about deleting our photos, totally okay, totally normal. Once you finish that class up to 100%, you will get an email with a link to the private Facebook group, where you can get access to lots of information from not only me, but a lot of the class members that have completed the class as well and are discussing and troubleshooting. And it's a great community. I really love it in there. And I think we're about 400 strong, something like that right now. That's great. That many people that have finished that class and are on their way to Photo Fabulous and conquering photo overwhelm. It is now the evening of the 28th. And I finished recording earlier today, and this evening I was going into Google Photos to look at some photos, to search for some photos, and lo and behold, there is my sharing tab. So exactly like I expected, they're rolling it out in waves. You do need to have the app updated first, and then it's some kind of a priority algorithm, I'm sure, as who gets it next after that. I did also sign up for a new Google account tonight, because I wanted to have a different one for recording. And that account does not yet have the sharing capabilities, the new additions. So if you haven't updated, be sure to update and then expect those to be rolled out. I haven't gone in and set up any rules yet because I wanted to record myself doing that. I wanted to take a video and be able to share that. I will probably be sharing that in the Finishers Facebook group. That is the Photo Fabulous First Step Finishers Facebook group. And that is for all of the people that have finished the free class. And when they finish it or you have finished it to 100%, you will automatically get an email invite, a link that you can click on to get into that group. And then you can join us in there and be able to watch this little demonstration. I'll probably just record it instead of doing a live stream. We'll see how things go. I got some new live stream software that I'm going to be trying out, and if things go really well with it, then we'll live stream it. Otherwise, it'll just be a video that I'll post in the Facebook group showing how to do these new cool things. I can't wait to get in there and set up some new rules and have my photos automatically share with the people that I love. I did get an alert, a notification. My husband and I went on a date this past weekend, and I took a lot of photos, and so it did ask me if I wanted to share all of those photos with him, and I was able to just check them really quick and make sure that they were all from that same time period and of us, and they sure were. Google did a great job pulling those out, and I was able to just go ahead and tap share. But I did want to add this little update for you because, of course, things like this always happen after I finish recording. Always, always. It is Murphy's Law. Thank you so much for being here and spending a few minutes or a bit of time, I guess, with me during the summer. I really appreciate it. Have a great day, and we will see you next time on Modern Photo Solutions.